Recording in progress. All right, baby. Dystopian decentralized future. Um, Pretty much where this idea came from is being in the crypto space. You're always hearing about the utopian side of decentralization, like, oh, if things go perfect, if things go well, XYZ is gonna happen. We're all gonna be living freely, just having grapes dropped into our mouths from beautiful women all around the world, and we'll just be living in perfect harmony. But as we know with life, not everything goes according to plan, and not everything is perfect. So I'm just kind of wondering, like, what if we went down this decentralized road, just for sake of imagination? We successfully take this route. We gather up society and humanity, and we've decided, okay, we're going to take this route towards decentralization, towards basically taking out the old corrupt infrastructure and trying to replace it with this new way, this new structure. What could go wrong? Like what shit would we run into? Would there be like chaos? Would there be anarchy? Would there be confusion? Like, say we really took that stand, we really took that jump, and we're like, okay, we're going decentralization. I would have to imagine possibly worst case scenario, like some shit could hit the fan. I'm just wondering, like, what a dystopian decentralized future kind of would resemble. Do you have any imagery, any insight you could add to this, Rain?
Well, we got some movie inspirations. Like to get a picture, you could think of Mad Max. You could think of like all of the zombie movies.
Yeah.
The Road, that's a dark one. I mean, there's quite a few routes to dystopia, and dystopia could look like a lot of different things. You could be looking at a very controlled dystopia, but I suppose in the sense of a decentralized dystopia, that really describes anarchy.
Hmm.
So the collapse of complex systems, the collapse of our society, um, the collapse of the infrastructure, both energy infrastructure and internet infrastructure that makes Bitcoin possible.
Hmm. I'm kind of thinking Joker.
Oh,
The Joker.
yeah, yeah.
Except instead of trading like dollars in Gotham City, they would be trading Bitcoin. So like Bitcoin would be hijacked by these criminal mobsters that are um kind of just dominating the world in their shady ways, and Bitcoin or decentralized currency is their means of exchange.
Well, it would have to, it couldn't be at the macro level. It couldn't be a global issue because, well, in the case of Joker and the way that anarchy broke out in that fiction, it's like a parasite on the rest of society, so it wouldn't really be able to exist without everything else making it possible. It's like a cancer, right? So, I mean, yeah, the cancer can be isolated to one area, but if the cancer gets too big, it kills the patient, and the cancer
Yeah,
can't survive without the patient being alive. So, um,
yeah. In terms of a global scale, there wouldn't there wouldn't really be this like mass um mobster uprising using Bitcoin that you kind of see on like fear tabloids saying, "Oh my goodness, guys, Bitcoin is the mobsters' currency. It's gonna take over, and the world's gonna be overrun by these scary criminals and stuff." So yeah, that doesn't seem possible with that outlook in mind.
yeah, and people have to keep in mind we're already being dominated by criminals, like World Economic Forum infiltrating our governments at every level, world banks, Federal Reserve and money scams. For what they've done essentially is they've taken over our monetary systems so that they can print as much money as they want. Well, they call it money. It's really a currency. And they can print as much of this imaginary currency as they like, especially as we've seen in the last year with Biden, just money printer go burr.
Mm.
And what the whole scam is, and you look at Blackrock, you look at Vanguard, what they do is they have this magic money machine in the Federal Reserve, and then the Federal Reserve gives that money to Blackrock and Vanguard to invest basically. And what those investment corporations do is they buy up all the real world assets and wealth. So they buy up the land, they buy up the company shares, they buy up the gold, they buy up everything. And so
that's like centralization dystopia. Basically just everybody, or like one organization just accumulates everything, and people just hand it over pretty much, kind of like Wally, eh? Like, what's the company, BNL? Like they own the world or something. They send everybody up on these spaceships, and they're just kind of complacent, like sitting on their pods, floating around, like getting pumped soda and fucking Doritos or some shit. Seemingly a utopia. Like if you had a twisted mindset, you could look at that and be like, "Oh, centralization utopia. We just get to fly around on these pods and get fed all day." But when you really look at it, it's just like, you know what? Maybe I want to have a life. Maybe I want to have a soul and do things and care after the earth and not just degenerate into a blob, as in Wally.
yeah, exactly. Although I think their plan for us is for us to be quite thin.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't even get the pleasure of sodas getting pumped into our bloodstream 10 times a day. Damn it.
No, man, that's the era that's fading away. We were already
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
All these shadow calories. Um,
yeah.
so we live in a centralized dystopia in a way, like a very subtle one.
Mm.
So with the equal
Not at
opposite,
Wally level. Not at Wally level,
no, but
but
very
there's
similar.
definitely some.
Very similar.
And I'd imagine the flip side of that, basically a decentralized dystopia, would be on a global scale, would have to be just mass like psychosis and just mass anarchy on all fronts, which could be a remedy to it's almost like a remedy to a centralized dystopia, but you kind of have to go through the fire a little bit. You're gonna get burnt. So if things get too centralized dystopian, then the remedy could be like as in the Joker or some shit, just some complete absolute anarchy and chaos and just batshit craziness. And then maybe, just maybe, out of that decentralized dystopia, break the old structure. Maybe out of that anarchy, a decentralized utopia could potentially spring forth from the ashes like a phoenix, born anew.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility that we're looking at. I mean, the corruption is so deep rooted with our world now. One would ask, like, how would you clean that up? And why would the people in power now relinquish the power that they have when you consider the fact that they don't have any scruples?
Mm.
Um, we also see this too in tyrannical systems where a very small handful of people play God and they think that they know what's best for everybody, and they reach in all of our lives and control us. And the issue is that nobody has the wisdom of God. Um,
Fact.
and all of these historically, every time this is attempted, it all falls apart and it falls into anarchy. And yeah, in a way, anarchy is you could say it's the cure. I'd say it's the result. I think it's a huge shame to think that we could lose all the progress that we've made over the last 300 years.
Mm. Yeah, like the burning, like you'd have to imagine an anarchy, like all the artwork that'd be destroyed because there'd be like no, like it would just be pure chaos, like all the art, all the good things too, because sure there's a lot of corruption, but in taking out that corruption, you'll lose some good things like the art, the work, some of the good infrastructure. So you'd have to, I guess, sacrifice that or lose that or try to like hold on to it or something to like only target the corruption and not like for example with cancer in an operation, like only take out the cancer and not chop off the arm per se.
Yeah, I think in
How
the
do we
case of
do this? I don't know.
I think in the case of anarchy, that's just taking a sledgehammer to the patient's head.
Yeah, just ending it all. It's
Yeah,
like
better luck on your next reincarnation, friend.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think that humanity has always risen out of the ashes. We've had these cataclysmic events before. We've had these collapses of empires before,
Oh,
and
definitely.
good people have built, and then little by little, bad people have infiltrated, and it's repeated a lot of times.
Mhm. What's the saying? It's like good time make weak man, weak man make tough time make strong man, strong
Strong
man
men
make
make good time.
exactly,
I love that
exactly.
saying, brother.
It's it's a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel that I think that we were previously in good time
yeah.
and times they have been difficult. In the grand scheme of history though, like in the bigger picture, we're still blessed to just be alive and to have the resources that we do. Because I could only imagine things were much more difficult for our ancestors. Like I like to think of it like this. It's like we're on a trajectory upwards and it kind of goes like up and down, up and down. So like right now, we're like up here, but we're in the pit. Okay. But I think in these tough times, a lot of new values, a lot of new systems, a lot of creativity happens in this darkness. A lot of like light springs forth. For example, Bitcoin is like a very good example of that creativity, of that new structure coming out in a low point, and then that's going to spring us up once again. And then, once we get up here, unfortunately, the good time make weak man, so it's gonna go back up. It's gonna fluctuate, okay? But we're going up, which is the important thing, the main trend of humanity and society.
That's really inspiring. Yeah, that's really hopeful. We got to think 8 generations ahead. You know what that reminds me of? The value of Bitcoin. Doot, 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 doot.
Oh,
Hey guys, copy
yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah. Bitcoin is like paving the way. It's like, guys, we're going up. It's like low point. It's like, guys, we're so Bitcoin 20,000. This is a real low point, guys. Like, oh my goodness, I can't believe Bitcoin crashed at 20,000. Then you just look back 4 years ago, it's like Bitcoin was at 3,000. So
You look back
that's like
13 years ago and they were like waving and clapping their hands when it reached 1 cent.
yeah, literally, literally. That's like humanity. We're just like zigzagging our way up, but like at each dip, and it doesn't matter. Like it takes some real foresight to be in that dip and to look ahead and be like, wait a second, things always get better. Things are always going up. Like that dip at 3,000. It would have been real easy to give up, to sell out or just lose faith and hope. But then lo and behold, it climbs, and it's just like, yeah, guys, let's go, let's go. And then it crashes down to 20K, and then it's easy to lose hope and to lose faith and be like, oh damn it, oh shucks, this isn't it. But history tends to repeat itself, things go in cycles like that. So it's just like, hold on, things are gonna get better. And just like in real life with these difficult times, um, for example, things being shut down, people being locked out, mandates coming in left and right, all this BS, it's really easy to get into that down and dumps mindset. But if you look at the grand stream of human history, it's just like, hey man, looking back, we used to get fucking whipped and rocks thrown at us and all sorts of shit for looking like a witch or a wizard or some shit. Okay, so we've come a long way. We've come a long way, and we're going a long way. We have a long way to go. So
Yeah. And we got to preserve all the progress we've made, right? So people that come through this time are the relics of this time. So we have an opportunity now to take all that knowledge, consolidate it in ourselves, and apply what we can. I mean, I don't think we'll be back at 21st century technology anytime soon if it goes, but maybe we could maintain 20th century or 19th century technology.
Yeah, take all the best aspects and bring it forward. All the best knowledge, all the best. Because to be quite frank, there's been like a lot of dookie knowledge this last century. Like if you take like Hitler's Mein Kampf, like just dookie knowledge that we don't need. Okay, like all these like social. I mean, YouTube, don't take us down, okay? But like you take these dookie terms like socialism, communism, like we don't need to carry this knowledge, these like okay, we need to learn our lesson, but we don't need to like practice them, okay? We don't need to practice these old dogmatic, outdated things. We need to take the good aspects, continue that practice, and kind of just look back at those mistakes that we made and be like, okay, we're not gonna practice those. We know they're silly. We know they're dookie. We'll kind of just we'll we'll put a little what not to do list. Okay, we'll make a what not to do. It's just don't do that.
Thank
Don't
you
go
for
down that
showing us
road.
what not to do.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So yeah, I like what you said, Rain, on taking the best bits of knowledge, just taking the best bits and then kind of conglomerating it or like putting it together and then moving it forward.
Amen.
Yeah, Bitcoin's good. This is a Bitcoin podcast, guys. Okay,
Bitcoin
Bitcoin.
podcast.
Like, this.
We said
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin like 10 times.
Exactly. Exactly. At
All
least it's
right.
hopeful. Yeah, at least we didn't leave it on a dystopian end. There's hope. There's always hope, guys. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and feel free to share with a friend, like, and subscribe for more content from Rain and I. I'm glad to do this episode with you, Rain. Like always, it's always fun to just shoot the shit. Sometimes it's not as Bitcoin related, but it's still always a blast. It's still always great. It's a fun podcast. And yeah,
Likewise, brother. Great talking with you. Thanks for watching, everybody.
peace.